Now we get into, I guess you'd call it their religion, right? And they call it the great medicine is what Wooden Leg refers to. And I think the best, as I looked up and tried to research what they mean by the word medicine, I think the closest thing I got is sort of like spirituality, spirit. That's kind of the word that it means to me as I try to figure out exactly what it meant. I don't know if there's but you can see from the context what he means by it.
Yeah.
So here we go, back to the book. I made medicine for the first time when I was 17 years old in 1875. To make medicine is to engage upon a special period of fasting, thanksgiving, prayer, and self-denial, even of self-torture. The procedure is an entirely devotional exercise. The purpose is to subdue the passions of the flesh and to improve the spiritual self. The bodily abstinence and the mental concentration upon lofty thoughts cleanses both the body and the soul and puts them into or keeps them in health. Then the individual mind gets closer toward conformity with the mind of the great medicine above us. So that's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's talking about fasting. He's talking about focusing on larger things. He's talking about punishing yourself and you know, he used the term self-torture. Mm-hmm. This is discipline. So he goes to his medicine man, a guy named Red-Haired Bear. Red-Haired Bear. I want to make medicine. I told him. How? He responded encouragingly. And that's not a question. It's like the statement of how.
Right.
How? He responded encouragingly. What number of days do you think you can endure? The whole 4 days, I replied confidently. How? He glowed. I will help you. So he's gonna. I guess that's the max limit that they go is 4 straight days. So it's 4 straight days, by the way, on your own, no food, no water.
Dang.
That's what the deal is. And you bear the elements. You can have like a little tent, but you're going to bear the elements. As he's preparing to do it, here we go back to the book. The medicine man painted my whole body. Red clay mixed into water in a dish was used for most of the painting. With the black paint, he made first a circle about my face, including the forehead, the chin, and the cheeks. Black wristlets and black anklets were next formed. On the middle of my breast, he painted a black sun. On my left shoulder blade, he put a black moon. This is going to be a hard trial for you, the hardest trial you've ever had. Throughout the 4 days, you will have neither food nor water. Your desires will distress you. Other distresses may be piled upon these. You may retreat now and postpone it for another time if you want to do so. What say you? I dread it, I confessed, but I know it will not kill me. I do not want to wait. I want to go on right now. I shall keep my courage from failing by fixing my thoughts upon being a good man. Legit. Going into the ceremony a little bit. Here he is, hot, thirsty, yet more hot and more thirsty. I prayed particularly for the strength of body and firmness of heart to carry me through to the end of the trial. I loaded my pipe for a solacing smoke, but it was not a solace. The heat burned my already parching tongue. I tried to sleep. Maybe I did sleep. I do not know. I made attempts to meditate quietly. I do not know whether I was actually thinking or was following dreams racing through my mind. All I could be sure about was that I was either sitting down or lying down all the time. And by the way, when they smoke the pipe, from what I could figure out, they're pretty much smoking generally tobacco with sometimes other herbs that they sometimes would mix with the tobacco. Willow bark, sumac, white sage, just kind of other plants and herbs. Back to the book. Oh, how lonely I was. I loaded and lit my pipe. No, it was not good. My mouth and throat were burning. Water, water. But the great medicine sees me, I kept thinking. My thoughts whirled and chased each other rapidly in circles. I dreamt that I heard the footsteps of a horse. Hey, wooden leg. Hey, this is the day. Happiness almost filled my heart. The only hindrance was in the thirst and the hot body. After I had been let out, we smoked together. It was a torture to my tongue, but I did not complain. We went then to my father's lodge in the camp. My father called out an invitation to old men friends. They came and sat in a circle upon the robes spread over the lodge's floor. I sat with them by the side of my father. My mother brought a bucket full of water and set it off a little distance from me. I suppressed a strong desire to plunge my face into it, but I could not keep my eyes from staring at it. Wooden leg, you have been 4 days without water. Now you may drink 4 sips. I seized the sides of the bucket. The 4 sips were 4 long-drawn mouthfuls. I waited for more advice. Wooden leg, you have been 4 days without meat. Take 4 sliced off bites, 1 for each day of the fast. I selected a chunk from the plate. I stuck the end of it far into my mouth, and with a sheath knife I cut it off. The chewing was vigorous, and I soon had it swallowed. The chunk was pushed a second time into my mouth, and its end cut off there. A third and fourth mouthful were taken in the same manner. After a few minutes, more meat was allowed to me. Then still more, all I cared to eat. It was the best meat I ever tasted. And I talked about that the other day, is like the recalibration of knowing what it's like to actually feel hungry, and then how good food tastes when you haven't eaten for a while. Yeah, tastes good. And that's what he's feeling, the best meat he ever tasted. Yep. Right there, boom. Now that's one little ceremony that he went through. And he does some more of that. The second medicine experience he does was about a month after that one, and he did 2 days instead of 4. So it's something that that these warriors would kind of continually keep up with. Mm. And back to the book here. For his 3rd season of warrior discipline, I went one morning at dawn to the top of a hill. There I fasted, prayed, meditated, and dreamed all day. Another disciplinary means for subduing the flesh was to stand upright all day from sunrise to sunset on a hill. The devotee did not move during that time except to keep his face turned at all times towards the sun. He might keep his eyes closed or shaded, but his countenance had to be presented ever towards the venerated token of the great medicine's existence. He prayed or otherwise kept his thoughts fixed on a high plane. This system of self-denial was varied by attitude taken. One might stand all day or sit in one position all day or lie down during all the time, but the attitude assumed at the beginning must be kept to the end. My all-day supplications were made while sitting down. Standing upright in water from sunrise to sunset was one way of putting the body under the rule of the spirit. The water had to be up to the neck or the upper breast. Not any drink of it was taken. It was not permissible to move the body except for keeping the face towards the sun. So just go get in the water. And these guys are in Montana, right? Right, they're in Montana. Just FYI. I don't care if it's the middle of summer. The water in Montana is cold.
Yeah, it's not Kauai.
No, it's not Kauai. And it's also interesting that, all different military units do this kind of stuff. Just going out and standing at attention, which they make you do in the military, which is when you're standing, erect with your hands at your side, you're not allowed to move. You do that for hours and hours and hours. It's interesting. It's like that's not just a coincidence, is it? You know what I mean? There is a discipline there. There's a discipline of the body in doing that, and it puts you in touch with your soul. Yeah. You stand there long enough, and then I going through SEAL training. Yep. You don't think you spend some time neck deep in water, just waiting enduring. And being cold and enduring? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, yoga can kind of be that, like certain poses. I mean, to compare as far as the magnitude is different, but
yeah, it's different.
they do that. You ever did like wall sits?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like that's another one, man, where it feels physical, but at the end of the day, it's mental.
Yep.
Like you just want to be, okay, I'm done. But here's the thing, you can endure it, but it's just going to take a lot, man.
Yeah. The wall sits are painful after a while. And then he goes on to say, the bodily torture incident to the full standard great medicine dance, what the white people call the sun dance, was the most severe test of hardihood. So it was looked upon as the highest form of self-scourging. I never undertook this extreme step. So the sun dance, if you don't know anything about that, it's like a multi-day fast with physical exertion, with like borderline self-torture, like they do piercings and slay the skin open. I mean, it's hardcore, and it got banned for a while, and the natives don't want people to like watch it or record it because it's their own personal thing. So anyways, you could probably do more research on it. It's called the sun dance, but they do all kinds of really, really hardcore stuff. It's just, some devastating, hard stuff to go through that hardens your soul up.
Yeah, man.
Here's one more interesting thing here. Back to the book. The face painting, as it was done for me by Red-Haired Bear at my first medicine making, was adopted as my fixed mode of battle preparation in this regard. It was a black ring about my face, including lower forehead, chin, and cheeks in its circle. All of the surface enclosed in that circle was painted yellow. I kept at all times right at hand a supply of charcoal and yellow clay paint. It did not take long for me to apply them when an occasion for their need might come. With this preparation, with my best clothing, my shield, my eagle wing bone whistle, myself and my horse protected by the grass seed medicine, I was almost fearless. I was not entirely so, but almost. In every time of danger, I tried to keep myself thinking, the great medicine sees me.